The internal organization requirements are broken down into very manageable bits for medium to large organizations, but many require some alternative controls or risk assessing in smaller companies. Segregation of duty, or what we're really dealing with here, the insider threat. This is not to say all companies will have someone working for them with malicious intent. Insider threats also refer to folks who are opportunistic. Using money, as this is an easy and understandable example, but this applies across all assets of the organization. The person who counts the money may also be the person who deposits the money into the bank. So how do we know when someone is skimming a little off the top, if they are also the person who double checks and audits the process and records? So how do we implement this in our preparations? Well, chances are you're already implementing normal best practices and common sense, so this is probably well underway. But to prepare, stick to the most critical assets. Verify the process from initiation to completion. When a user needs access to a system, do they submit a help desk ticket? Who picks up those tickets? Who processes them? Who verifies the access given is correct? Identify the individuals and verify potential folks who are able to manipulate a process without being caught, or worse, are able to work in cahoots with someone else. You will want to work with those process owners to devise alternative methods of processing or overarching monitoring requirements. You will always want to double-check work, if nothing more than to prevent mistakes from happening. The next big topic is the contact with authorities. Basically, what this states is that if something happens, you will know who to call. Your firewalls are breached, information is stolen. You don't want to be scrambling to know how to contact cybercrime units of the local law enforcement. Chances are you already have this covered in your incident response or business continuity plans though. You're going to want to have contact information and maybe some preliminary discussions with authorities. If there is a physical breach of premises, what is the procedure to handle that? If there is a cyber breach, are there guidelines on when or if federal authorities will get involved? You want to think about a retainer for incidents if you don't have the deep enough staff that can handle response in a crisis. You may have one person capable and you feel comfortable they can, but what if they are traveling or not around when the incident strikes? Finally, your legal team should be involved for any major security response. They will want to be involved in the decision around how and when to respond. A spin-off of that is you also want to remain in contact with special interest groups. The standard wants you networking. This will demonstrate a passion for the industry, but it will also improve your knowledge through an idea exchange. You may be able to receive alert warnings or advisories that come out ahead of general release, or you may just be able to gain access to special information. Finally, attending local and regional conferences of various sizes helps to build that general knowledge. Getting to talk to folks in the same industry who are or were experiencing similar situations may be able to offer advice. Lastly, project management. Basically, what we're saying here is as we progress through the project management process, we want to make sure at some point we are considering security requirements as part of the process. For large organizations with an established project management program, this is fairly easy. Meet with a team, infuse security into the process, right? But smaller organizations, especially organizations without project managers to guide the process, it falls on the various levels and managers and teams to guide the work. The problem is no two teams will project manage the same way, meaning you will basically need to meet with all leadership throughout the organization to make sure they incorporate security in their own special way. This is another one of those modules where it's basically policy writing to implement the compliance within the standard. In Doc A6.1, we call out the basic job functions and associated responsibilities. We then roll that into policy requirements for segregation of duty between roles. Finally, our two sections on contact with third parties, whether that be authorities or special interest groups and so on. In Rec A6.6, we have a spreadsheet to maintain the contact information for pertinent folks. Who they are, who is in charge from your company for maintaining the correct information in the table, and really, what is the information they're gathering. Best if you break this down by location as to not confuse an already stressful situation in the event of an incident.